The Galactic Council's annual trade summit on Station Kepler 442b was supposed to be a routine affair. Ambassador Vrixtel of the Coordination had attended 17 of these gatherings, and each one followed the same predictable pattern. Delegations arrived with excessive security, species segregated by dietary classifications, and everyone maintained a comfortable 3-meter distance from anyone with visible fangs. Then the human walked in. Vrixtel's translator implant nearly short-circuited at the sight. The human female, Dr. Sarah Chen according to the manifest, strode through the main concourse with 2 Ravakian shadowcats perched on her shoulders. The ambassador's 4 eyes blinked in rapid succession, an involuntary stress response his species had evolved over millennia. Ravakian shadowcats were apex predators from a death world in the Outer Rim. They could disembowel a Thraxian warrior in under 3 seconds. Their venom could paralyze a Gordanian battlecruiser crew. They were, by every measure the Galactic Council used, Category 5 lethal fauna. And this human had 2 of them sitting on her shoulders like decorative accessories. Security Chief Kaltros, a heavily armored Zenthari with enough combat augmentations to level a small building, moved to intercept. His 8-fingered hand hovered over his plasma disruptor. Dr. Chen, Kaltros's voice rumbled through his helmet's speakers. Station regulations clearly state that Category 5 organisms require containment fields and armed escorts. Those creatures are dangerous. The human paused, tilting her head in a gesture Vrixtel had learned meant confusion or amusement. The shadowcats mimicked her movement with eerie precision, their luminescent eyes fixing on the security chief. Dangerous? Sarah's lips curved upward. The human expression called a smile. Only if you are. Kaltros's stance shifted, his translator parsing the ambiguous statement. Explain. They're babies, Chief, 6 months old. And they're only dangerous if you're planning to hurt me or them. She reached up to scratch one of the cubs behind its auditory ridges. The creature, which could theoretically tear through reinforced hull plating, leaned into her touch and produced a sound Vrixtel's translator labeled as purring. The ambassador found himself drawn closer, his scientific curiosity overriding his survival instincts. Dr. Chen, I must inquire, how did you achieve this? Ravakian shadowcats have a documented 100% fatality rate in domestication attempts. The Ravakian government itself abandoned all such programs after the incident of 7 moons. Sarah's smile widened. That's because everyone else tried to dominate them. Humans learned a long time ago that predators don't need to be broken. They need to be understood. She gestured to the cub on her left shoulder, slightly smaller with distinctive silver striping. This is Artemis. And this, she indicated the right cub, darker with gold-flecked fur, is Apollo. I raised them from when they were 2 weeks old. Their mother was killed by poachers. You fed them? Kaltros asked, his combat algorithms clearly struggling to process this scenario. Every 4 hours for the first month, then every 6. Now they hunt with me. Hunt? Vrixtel's throat sac inflated with alarm. In simulations, Sarah clarified quickly. We're studying predator cognition and pack bonding behaviors. Turns out shadowcats are intensely loyal once they imprint. They're not that different from the wolves my ancestors befriended 20,000 years ago. A small crowd had gathered now, delegates from a dozen species, all maintaining what they considered a safe distance. Vrixtel noticed a pattern. The herbivorous species stayed farthest back, while the few predator species representatives leaned forward with unmistakable interest. One of them, a Kralix hunter with chromatophore skin that currently displayed aggressive red patterns, clicked forward on his 4 legs. The human speaks truth. My people have legends of your kind, the species that turned killers into companions. We thought they were myths. Very real, Sarah confirmed. Humans have a long history of looking at dangerous things and asking, but what if we were friends? Doesn't always work out, but when it does, she paused as Apollo nuzzled against her neck. It changes everything. Kaltros hadn't moved, his weapon still half drawn. And if they attack someone? Sarah's expression hardened, the smile vanishing. For the first time, Vrixtel saw something in her eyes that made his survival instincts scream. Not fear of the human, but recognition. She wasn't just a scientist playing with dangerous animals. She was the pack's alpha. Then whoever provoked them made a fatal mistake, she said softly. Because these cubs know the difference between play and threat. They know who's family and who's food. And Chief, her eyes locked with Kaltros's optical sensors, They know I'm both their protector and their pack leader. So yes, they're dangerous, but only if you are. The security chief processed this for a long moment, then slowly his hand moved away from his weapon. Your credentials are in order, Dr. Chen, but the Shadow Cats must wear monitoring collars while on station. Already equipped, Sarah tapped a slim band around each cub's neck. Biomonitors, location trackers, and behavioral sensors. You'll know if their stress levels spike before they do. Brixtal watched as the human continued toward the conference hall, the crowd parting before her like water around a ship's bow. The Shadow Cats rode her shoulders with regal composure, occasionally glancing at the gathered aliens with eyes that promised both intelligence and judgment. As Sarah passed, Artemis looked directly at Vrixtal. The ambassador froze, every instinct screaming, but the cub simply blinked slowly. What Sarah would later explain was a gesture of trust and turned away. That evening, Vrixtal updated his species' cultural database on humans with a new entry. Humanity's greatest danger lies not in their weapons or their worlds, but in their uncanny ability to turn the universe's killers into family. They bond with predators not through dominance but through partnership. They see teeth and claws and ask not, how do we defend against this, but how do we become allies with this? If humans ever turn this ability toward conquest, the galaxy should be very concerned. Fortunately, they seem more interested in collecting dangerous pets. The next day, when Dr. Chen presented her research on cross-species pack bonding, Artemis and Apollo sat attentively beside her podium. Not a single delegate left early, and Vrixtal found himself wondering what other impossible things humans had befriended, and what they might befriend next.